Hey y'all, welcome to Peyton Energetics. I'm Peyton, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about why it is so important for lightworkers and starseeds to have strong boundaries right now. So if you happen to have caught the last month's energy report, the Pleiadians were talking about how it is absolutely critical right now for all lightworkers and starseeds to really double down on their boundaries, to make sure we are protecting our energy at all times, and especially in the months to come. So I wanted to take a little time today and just talk a little more about what the guides are talking about and why it is so important for all of us to really have ironclad boundaries right now. So when we talk about boundaries, this is a term that you have probably heard just in the course of talk of relationships in your life, right? We're always taught to have strong personal boundaries so that other people don't impose their will on us, take advantage of us. And there's kind of a similar thing that happens in the intuitive world, where it's really important for all of us to have strong energy boundaries as well as strong personal boundaries. So today we're going to be talking about energetic boundaries. So what does that even mean? Well, as you know, if you are on your spiritual path, you've heard a lot of people talking about the importance of our vibration, right? This is what we talk about in the spiritual community: vibration and frequency. It's the key to everything. So that is how we get into this discussion of boundaries. So when we talk about frequency and vibration in the intuitive world, we're talking about the signal that we send out to the universe 24/7 that the universe then matches. So we are constantly sending out what you can think of as almost a radio signal, like our own personal radio station. And we send out this frequency, this vibration, every moment that we're awake. And what happens is the universe matches that signal, that frequency, and brings us back to us, or reflects back to us, feelings, experiences, and events in our life that match the signal we're sending out. So if we are mostly sending out a signal that is happy and positive, most of the things that are going to happen in our life are happy and positive. And on the other end of the scale, if we are always in fear or anger, then we're going to get a lot of reflections in our life experience that match that lower vibration. So what this means is, as spiritual people on our spiritual path, our frequency and our vibration are the most important thing, because that is what the universe is going to match and reflect back to us in terms of our life experience. So that is one of the reasons that boundaries are such an important topic for us right now, because something else happens energetically as we go about our life. And that is, there's a concept that's called in the energy world matching energy. And so when two people meet each other or interact in daily life, vibrations have to match. They have to come together for those two people to be able to share an experience. So what tends to happen is one of the two people will drop their vibration or lower their vibration to meet the other person. And this is something that we do unconsciously. It's not something that we go about and set an intention to do, but it's happening constantly with everyone that we meet, every situation we go into. Either we are holding our vibration or we are adjusting it upward or downward to match our environment. So when the guides talk about how important it is for us to have boundaries, they're talking about how important it is for us right now to protect our high vibration, because most of the awakened community has been doing their spiritual work for a while now, and we've really been elevating our vibration. Because as we do all of these practices that we do in the spiritual community, whether it is something like meditation, something like breath work, some form of healing modality, or any form of even tools like energy protection, shadow work, all of those things work by raising our vibration. So after someone has been on their spiritual path for a while, they're starting to really raise their vibration, their frequency. And so what the guides are encouraging us to do as members of the awakened community is to make sure we're protecting all that hard work we have done to raise our vibration. Because if we are not holding our space, having boundaries, what happens is we go out in, let's call it the 3D world. It's a little phrase we use in the spiritual community to indicate those people around us who are not doing their work, who are still very attached to denser timelines. What happens as we go out amongst the normal world, the 3D world, we tend to lower our vibration to match that, because our external world right now is extremely dense. When we are encountering people who are not doing their personal work, are not trying to raise their vibration, expand their consciousness, they tend to have a lower or a denser vibration than people who have been doing their work. So what the guides are encouraging is that we have energetic boundaries. And what they mean by that is holding the space around ourselves, to not let other people be siphoning off our energy, to not let ourselves just be on autopilot and drop our vibration to match what we see around us. And as you know, as you're looking out at the world right now, a lot of people are really struggling. A lot of people are getting into a lot of anger, a lot of fear, a lot of very chaotic, lower vibrational energy. And if we are not protecting our energy when we go out in the world, it's very easy to, just by default, just on autopilot, drop our frequency to match those around us. And the guides have been warning us in 2023, cautioning us that as the 3D world gets more chaotic, and we're kind of seeing that play out around us, that it's more important than ever for light workers and starseeds to protect their frequency. And there are lots of ways to do this. One of the best ways is to use what we call energy protection tools, because these tools are very, very easy, very simple, and they put an actual shield around your energetic field. And all that does is it keeps your energy in and keeps everyone else's energy out. And so what that does for you, if you use these tools on a daily basis, it keeps you from absorbing the negative energy of other people, whether that is the energy of fear, whether that is the energy of anger, whether that is the energy of confusion, all the energy that we're seeing swirling around us in our mass world. We don't want to absorb that into our energy field because it will lower our vibration. So what that does is starts to undo all of that great work we have been doing on ourselves. So what the guides are encouraging us very strongly in 2023 to keep our attention on is having strong energy boundaries. And all that means is holding your vibration no matter what is going on around you. And again, one of the best ways to do this is through energy protection tools, because it will actually form a barrier around your energy field. And it's kind of like waterproofing yourself. It's really, really cool and really helpful. And if you don't know how to do this, I just did a 3-part video series on energy protection tools with the girls, Corey and Yaila, that y'all might know. I do a lot of videos with them, and the 3 of us just did a whole series on energy protection because it's so, so important right now. So the guides have been telling us and encouraging us over these coming months in 2023 for us all to be very, very aware of our boundaries and be very much using our boundaries as much as we possibly can. Because what they said we can expect to see happening over the coming months as things get crazier in the denser timelines is that many people who are not doing their work, either because they don't know how or because they're not willing to, are going to be clinging to people that have done their work, because they're going to recognize at an unconscious level a higher vibration and want to be part of that. They're going to want access to your energy. And while we as light workers and starseeds always want to be of service, we don't want to be doing the work for other people, because we are at the point now in our collective ascension where everyone has to do their own work. We can't carry other people energetically. And so protecting our frequency as light workers and starseeds is going to get more and more important, because something that you may have noticed if you are sensitive yourself, if you are a light worker or a starseed, is that you are a magnet to people who want to take advantage of your energy, to be in your energy so that they don't have to work on themselves. People who are sensitive and empathic can be magnets for energy vampires. People who just drain energy from other people. Magnets for narcissists. You may have experience with this if you are an empath. And so as all of us as light workers and starseeds are getting more and more sensitive, it becomes more and more important to have strong energetic boundaries. Because as you know, and we've heard this a lot in our spiritual teachings, like attracts like. And sometimes we call this in the spiritual world, the law of attraction is one of the names that this concept goes by. The law of mirroring is another term that it's sometimes called. But what this means in our experience is that like energies attract. And so when energies come together, one has to go up and one has to go down so that they can meet in the middle. And so what we want to avoid as light workers and starseeds is dropping our energy without realizing it. So as you start to practice your boundaries, your energetic boundaries, an interesting thing happens. As you hold your space, what happens is you force other people, anyone you're coming in contact with, anyone you're interacting with, to match you. Rather than usually the higher vibrational person will drop their vibration to meet the lower one. And we want to stop that pattern, that trend. And so instead, as light workers and starseeds, we want to hold our space and force other people to meet us where we are. Because if we don't, if we continue to drop our vibration, we start to attach to lower timelines. And so that's not what we want to be doing at this point in our ascension process. So how do we do this? How do we have good energetic boundaries as starseeds? Well, there's a couple ways to go about this. One, of course, and one that y'all have heard me talk about like a broken record, is using your energy protection tools daily. This is one of the best ways to have really solid energy boundaries at all times. But there are other ways that you can go about it. Even just being willing to hold your own space, to believe what you believe and let everyone else have their own experience. So one way that this might look is you start to just let other people do as they will without reacting to it. Because as humans, it's very easy for us to get into judgment, to feel threatened when people don't agree with us. And so that's one of the ways that we can lose our boundaries, is because we're letting someone else's opinion, someone else's choice affect our frequency. So when we just start to live and let live, you start to really build strong energy boundaries. Because again, we're recognizing at this point in our ascension journey that everyone gets to make their own choice. Everyone determines their own reality. And someone else can choose something radically different than we choose without it affecting us. The only way it can affect us is if we lower our vibration because we are judging them, we are afraid of them, or we are just not paying attention. So one way to have really strong, healthy, energetic boundaries is to just let other people be, to let them have their experience, have their reaction without us reacting to it. So that's another great way to strengthen your energy boundaries. And then the other thing that the guides always recommend as a way to have really great energy boundaries is to be our authentic self. And this is something that can really be a challenge for light workers and starseeds to show the world our authentic self, because there's so much fear of being rejected for that, right? Being judged for that. And a lot of us who have been doing this for a long time have experienced that. So it can be a little intimidating for us to stand in our truth, speak what we truly think without trying to people please or go along with the crowd. So the more we are authentic in ourselves, the more we establish strong energy boundaries. Now, yes, some people will move away from us because that may not be what they resonate with. But the interesting thing that happens as we start to stand in our truth is we start to attract the people who are on our channel. And that is one of the biggest universal concerns that I hear in all the starseeds that I work with, is how difficult it has been to find their tribe, to find people they really resonate with. And one of the best ways to start doing that, to attract your authentic tribe, we have to be our authentic self, which means putting ourselves out there no matter what other people think. And again, that's a little threatening to the ego. The ego is going to try to talk you out of that, tell you maybe you shouldn't say that. They're going to think you're crazy. But the more you stand as your authentic self, the more you inspire others to do the same. And the more you draw to you people who value and appreciate who you truly are. And that is the ascension process in a nutshell. We have to become our authentic selves. And so as long as we are holding up masks, trying to go along with what we think other people want, we're lowering our vibration because we are not being true to our soul essence. So again, being our authentic self as often as possible. And that doesn't mean pushing our opinion on other people. It doesn't mean we have to be an evangelist, giving a TED talk to everyone we meet, but it just means being comfortable with who we are and sharing that authentically however we can. And then letting other people like it or dislike it, that doesn't really affect us. Because again, they get to have their unique experience too. So those are some of the ways that you can strengthen your energetic boundaries as a starseed. And again, the guides are encouraging us, and this has come up a couple times, and it always makes me pay attention when the Pleiadians repeat themselves on a message. So this is something they are telling us is very worth our while in 2023. Is to really lock down your energetic boundaries. Because again, we are going to start to see in the 3D world, people trying to take advantage of our energy. And we don't want to let that happen. Everyone has to do their own work at this point in the game. That's what we are all here for. So energy boundaries is super important right now. So let me know in the comments below, what do you do to protect your energetic boundaries? Drop that in the comment box below. And while you're down there, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you soon. Bye.